Well, the former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, says Nigerians deserve whatever they get from leaders at the helm of affairs whom they voted for during the election. Now, speaking on the nation's current economy under Mr. Tinubu, the former minister said Nigerians could seek greener pastures and explore opportunities abroad. However, he explained that Nigeria has several opportunities if the youths who continue to leave the country are willing to tap into the resources around them. Amechi listed insecurity and lack of employment creation as factors driving Nigerians outside the country, adding that only the government can solve some of these challenges. Now, speaking further, he maintained that this is the part that I find very interesting. Anybody can wake up one day and become a minister or a governor in Nigeria, and that it just happens, all right? It just happens. And he seems to be oblivious of how the country, how the economy has degenerated in the country. Oh, well, we do have Mr. Akin Fatunke with us in the studio, and we do expect John Akirili, journalist and public affairs commentator, to join this conversation. Now, but let me start with Mr. Fatunke. When I woke up this morning, really, I looked around and I was hoping I would be president, you know. But you know, when I stepped into my bathroom, I realized, oh,
you're still you.
I'm still me. Nigeria is a place where apparently you can wake up and be one thing. You go to bed being one thing. You wake up being one thing else.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, this is not the first time that Rotimi Amechi has made this statement. You do recall, during an inauguration, he said, Nigerians, no politician is innocent. I'm rephrasing his words now. He said, no politician is innocent, but Nigerians still go about voting them into power. Now, how do you react? Is this insensitivity, or is this, does he have a different perspective that we are not seeing the things that he's seeing?
Moses, if you studied the French Revolution, the French history, there is Maria Antoinette. She was so detached, and when at the Bastille, that is the seat of power, people were going about route, and she sheepishly and innocently made a comment and said, why are they routing? And the people said, there's no bread. So if there's no bread, give them cake. Still talking about the fact that those who rule us are so far removed from the pulse and the pains, and then politics come into it. Chibuike Rotimi Amechi, he has an O-N, also attached to his name, like quite a number of them, has made his statement to say, for instance, that Nigerians deserve those who they voted for. Really? We voted for? What about those who didn't vote, the likes of you? What is the criteria that makes you somebody we should vote for? I mean, if I remember correctly, you made an allusion. I don't know whether it was him or somebody else that also said that.
No, he did.
That if you find that we are not living up to the standards, stone us and all that. So
Okay.
They will come up and say that. And they realize that we didn't stone them. If you stoned them, like Marie Antoinette, the queen in France, had her head guillotined, they won't have a chance to now be playing on what? The way we have. Rotimi Amechi perhaps is saying we should have, through the primaries, voted him in because he was able to run around the stadium, and when you run around the stadium, then your head will be sharp enough to resolve problems, and makes us forget the fact that as Minister for Transportation, against all whims and caprice of economics, I decided that they are going to set a transportation university in the arid, virtually arid deserts, and we are going to get a railway from Katsina to
Niger Republic.
When this set of people believe that we do not have thinking faculties, and they may be right, because we have kept quiet for so long. But is it true that we have chaos in our economics? It's very true. Is it true that, the baton, I've just mentioned about two, don't let me talk about railways, don't let me talk about what happened at the Idu station thing. Don't let me also talk about what happened between Abuja and Kaduna. You remember all that under his watch?
Yeah.
And then you now suddenly now rise to now begin to now see light. He's not alone. Virtually, after leaving office, they begin to try and play politics. My expectation is, again, when you have a sense of shame, is to now then see, okay, plus or minus, whether fear or foul, Nigerians are in deep straits. We are still talking about kidnappers that even happened under your own, whatever it is, are being killed. Can we begin to profile alternative rather than just keep quiet and keep mum? And then it's like you are praying that things should not get better so that you can get your own pound of flesh. And don't forget from the onset, Rotimi Amechi was not voted for, but he benefited from the court system and the jiggery-pogery that happened in Rivers State, and that became the governor. It's not about being able to speak English. And I remember Rotimi Amechi coming to Lagos Business School with Fashola sometime. We were there, and he made a statement, and I remember, I hope he hears what I am saying. And the statement he made is the fact that people like you, Moses, people like me, people like technocrats, we should not run away from coming into politics, because if you don't, his exact words, if you don't come and fill the space, then vagabonds and stupid people will continue to fill it. I am not calling him any of those names.
Okay. But, let's bring John Akerele into this conversation now. Now, John, good morning to you. Good morning to you, John. Now, this is coming from a man who once said that he did not join politics to solve Nigeria's problems. He did say he joined politics because of unemployment. What does this say to those that are ruling Nigerians? I don't want to say ruling us. Let's just leave it at ruling Nigerians. John, please.
Thank you very much, Moses. Good morning, Moses. Good morning to everybody in the studio, including my guy, Mr. Fafunke. It's a shame. It's a shame that when our politicians do their politicking, and when they fall out of favor, they become an activist. Don't forget that Rotimi Amechi, was one time a governor, another time a minister, and under his watch, there are so many things that happen between that purview of his jurisdiction. And what can he even say? Was he accountable to Nigerians while he was a minister? There are so many things that happen in terms of procurement, in terms of rail service. He was Minister for Transportation, for God's sake. What was the scorecard then? Don't also forget that he also contested the primaries of the APC against Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the likes. Even though it's making sense now, but most Nigerians will not see it from that angle. They will see it from the angle of him being bitter because it's out of favor with the present administration. And he's not the only one that is out of favor. The likes of Kai Defayemi also, those who benefited enormously from the Buhari administration have been sidelined in the APC, and that's what's happening. But also, Moses, let's not also throw away the water, and the baby.
Throw away the baby, yeah.
Rather, let's separate it. So what am I saying in essence here? Amechi has said something that is very critical. And if you look at the time of electioneering, you will see that there are some people who are in these big political parties, APC and PDP, who knew quite all right. They were convinced in their spirit, man, that these so-called their candidates cannot really deliver when it comes to dividends of democracy and when it comes to good governance and accountability. But, you know, they play the ethnic card, they play the religious card, and they just want to be there. Like I said to you, and I will continue to say, Moses, on any forum that I find myself, that the likes of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will not do anything for Nigeria. That's my word to you. Let it be on record. I said that today, and I'm saying it again.
All right, then.
It will be that we are always having a better last year. Don't forget, during their time of Jonathan, we were saying, oh, Yar'Adua was a hero. When Jonathan left, Buhari came. We were saying, Jonathan was the best. Buhari left now. Tinubu came. We were saying we never knew what we were enjoying under Buhari until Tinubu came. So what he's saying is that we all saw it clearly. You know, we saw it clearly that we would have voted for a better candidate who was much younger, who, you know, has a good track record, who you are sure that he will move us from consultants to production according to what he has said in his manifesto and his campaign. And a lot of people believed in him. But also, that has to show to you, Moses, that Nigeria's problem is the same way our poverty is. Multi-dimensional poverty is also multi-dimensional problem and need multi-dimensional strategies for us to get it, you know, out of all of this.
All right.
Rufai might be saying the fact, but then I will see it as if it's just like a beaten lion who is crying in the wilderness.
Okay, Mr. John, I'm still going to stay with you because just a few minutes ago, Mr. Akin here said that these politicians are just playing politics. Do you share this opinion as well and this view as well? And then, isn't it about time that our politicians start facing the realities of how to govern the people rather than consistently playing politics?
Thank you very much, my brother. You see, the same way our politicians play politics is the same way our religious leaders also play religion card. Okay? In a country where you don't have a good healthcare system, you trust God for a miracle for ordinary headache, where you can get Rastamol, get good medication for you to be treated. In a case where you have, you know, complication around childbearing because you have a very tiny pelvic, that you are going for cesarean session for you to be operated on and have the baby out, they will tell you to go and drink only water. So we the same way it is in politics, the same way it is in religion. And our politicians, we always look for that loophole to play on our emotions. If President Amechi did not come out to speak now, we have forgotten about him. And don't forget that all politicians want to remain relevant. They will always stir up, you know, something that will bring them up into the limelight again. And such things that they must do must be issuing controversial statements that will, you know, hit different angles and different portals for them to become a discourse. If Rotimi Amechi had not said that now, I don't think we'll be discussing this issue on this forum this morning. So that's to tell you that they always find a way of bringing themselves back, because most of the time, once they fall out of favor, they become irrelevant politically, and their structures that they have built over the years will go down the drain, and that's how they become relevant. And that's why the person like Wike is also fighting for his own structure in Rivers that should not be destroyed, because once the structure is destroyed, he has lost his political weight and his political relevance. So for me, even though we will say it is politicking, but even in politicking, there are some things that they are saying that they are salient points. You know what will say?
All right,
thank you so much, Mr. John, for that. And Mr. Akin, you know,
before we take another question,
right,
let's actually listen to the man himself, Rotimi Amechi, in this video.
A governor. It just happens. I don't know how this country operates. So if you're looking for opportunity, please stay back in Nigeria. If you're looking for 9 to 5 safety and all that, one of my friends said to me, but supposing you're waiting for that. I've always discouraged those who want to leave the country. I said 9 to 5, yes, You can always get 9 to 5 job when you leave the country, but you can never get the opportunity you will get in Nigeria. You can just wake up one day, you become a minister in Nigeria. You can just wake up one day, you become a governor. It just happens. I don't know how this country operates. So if you're looking for opportunity, please stay back in Nigeria. If you're looking for 9 to 5 safety and all that, one of my friends said to me, but supposing you're waiting for that opportunity and they kill you, well, maybe that's your destiny.
But honestly, the example you just gave
is... opportunities are here.
Right. The example you just...
All right, then that's that video there. Well, it was supposed to be a video, but unfortunately... Well, anyway, that's Rotimi Amechi. In fact, the man himself said he doesn't know how this happens.
Exactly what's happening in the country, and that was what I wanted to ask Mr. Akin Fortunke. Is it that the people that we elected, or those that found themselves actually in the government, believes that there is nothing anybody can do? You know, because I think most times the law that we make in this country kind of tend to favor them. It's more like the laws are for the poor people in the society, whereas the political, let's say the big wigs in the society actually don't really get to suffer anything that has to do even when they are at fault. You find out that some people, even when you arrest them, or when they're being picked, or when they're being when they found fault, or maybe when they embezzle the money or the public fund and all that, is either they grant them amnesty, or that's from the blues, someone will just, come up to say, I'll have to let this person go, or the case will keep on being on trial, or that the court will give them a bail. And this bill they are paying it with their money, because I don't understand why the minister or former minister of transportation, Rotimi Amechi, will come up to say that he don't even know what is happening in the country, and then he's telling us that if we stay, because what led all this actually was the issue of the Jabba syndrome and all that. He's of the opinion that if we stay back in the country, for me, Fina, will just wake up one day and become the minister, and when I'm the minister, I can do anything I want to do, and nobody will actually question me. At the end of the day, I'll just go. Whatever thing that's, die with me or stay with me during the time I was there, will also die when I leave there.
When you speak English, sometimes some people talk before they think, or they think before they talk. You can always have slips. I can have slips. Anybody can have slips. I think for having a slip, for him to say he does not understand what is happening in the country, I think he does. He knows that the country is populated by brigands, thieves in high places. It's also not correct to say you can go out of this country and get a 9 to 5 jobs. It's either he's not even aware of what is happening out there. The jobs are not there for you to pick. The jobs that are out there for him to pick will not be a job. His daughter, or if he has a son, whoever wants to go and pick by way of care job, spitting on you and then getting pittance. What has happened is the fact that we are in a vehicle that's not going to take us anywhere. That vehicle is called a constitution that is light on itself. We have tried to tinker with it to make sure we somehow take care of, outcomes like it has come from Rotimi Amechi. And please, it's not just Rotimi Amechi. We have other governors, we have other heads of state and presidents who have ruled us. It's either when they are there, they are fighting over girlfriends openly and using state resources, and they don't seem to care. They don't seem to care because we have, one way or the other, allowed them. In 2023 and 2024, in my opinion, the level of anger and the level of angst, rightly or wrongly, is one that I personally have never witnessed. We are having renowned professors, renowned doctors, the pundits of this world being called to question. Yeah, we are still calling them to question. We are still not eating them raw on the road. And if your teeth is cut, you want to protect your teeth and say nothing should happen to your teeth. If mine is cut, so we have a balance of terror kind of situation. First step would therefore be disembark from this vehicle that's not going to take us anywhere. Look at it very much more critically at our politics and say to ourselves, the kind of money that go into our politics, into our elections, can we find a way to creatively put ourselves in a position to be able to say, yes, I think this particular person can represent me, and then we can fashion it out. We should find a way to drift apart and not continue to say that Nigeria is not negotiable. Finette, I have bad news for you. Well, it's for myself because it's coming from you. I know it's bad news. Repeat the elections 20-24 times. Under this same STP, standard temperature and pressure that we call a constitution, we end up with the same set of results because we are totally divided. We know where to go. I say we know where to go because the likes of you step out of this country, you call it Jackpot, step out of this country, you are regarded and you are respected. Highly respected and highly sought for. To the extent that other African countries will begin to now say, this Nigerian self, we're making it out there.
Yeah.
But when we come back in here, we use the prepender, we use fault lines, we use religion, we know that we can do anything and there's not going to be a consequence. It's, I think, most unfortunate with Rotimi Amechi and the statements that he's made. I know X, Twitter. I know Twitter has now become what Professor Wole Soyinka now says that sometimes you don't want to find yourself on the other side of it. You need to see what people are saying about him. If anybody has a sense of shame, he will caution himself. But Obasanjo, I'm sure one of now the revered leaders that we are looking at actually was making the point, and he said there's a theory that every successive government is worse than the one before. And it's true. And if Obasanjo now becomes the yardstick that we are going to be looking at, if Jonathan will be a yardstick that we are going to be looking at for governance, for crying out loud, and if Buhari is going to be the yardstick of what we are going to be looking for governance, if only we can test it. Let Buhari, as far as the North is concerned, step out now and says he's going to lead campaign for election. People will still vote for him.
Yeah.
That is the extent to which we have gone now. So the only way, therefore, come out of that vehicle, let's review this constitution, let's decide on the kind of governance that will pay us. We don't have to start from the scratch. Let's take the conference reports that gather dust, that the present administration put aside. Let them talk their pride behind them, go back to it and say, hey, like the prodigal, can we have a look at it again and decide that Nigeria is very negotiable? We must find a way out of this, and the way out of it is easy. Rwanda was able to find a way out of it. We can. Rwanda came to Nigeria. All our guys, they came to us. Ghana came to Nigeria. Our sports, people virtually were coming back to us to say, look, how did you do it? Our music, people were coming back to us in the 60s. And then the other one that I mentioned in newspaper review, we have the capacity to do it, but what we don't have is the political will and the strength and the character to do the right.
Okay, you want to say something now, but then you just made mention of the political will. That's on one part. Again, I'm also going to bring you back to what you call the vehicle, which is our Constitution. One or two times the Constitution has been amended. And we know what this means when you amend constitutions and getting off that Constitution. I dare say is not one that will be an easy ride. So now, what do you propose? And how do you propose that we move out of this vehicle, that's the Constitution, that is presently guiding us, as concerning citizenry?
David, as an economist, no two theorists solves a problem the same way.
Okay.
You hold on to yours very rigidly, you'll be right. You call it ceteris paribus. I hold on to mine very rigidly. Well, depending on who belts the tape. I agree with you, it's not going to be an easy ride. But I take my cue from realism. Having lived in this country for a little while, I do not know the reason why Professor Dora Akunyili, at one point in time, something that led to the doctrine of necessity that brought Jonathan home, she was in a vehicle, and then she realized that, in a short time, we can continue to deceive the people, the country will continue to go down. What did she prescribe? Raise up your hand. That is a powerful statement to make. I am not going to go along with you, all these people that are saying the king must dance naked. Friend Agbe, please pardon me. The king is naked. We can't continue to say this is not naked. So what do? Look at it from the past 4 or 5 years. Look at just our elections, the trillions that have gone down through our elections. I know it goes beyond monetary terms.
Yeah.
If we had curtailed and taken a decision that this vehicle that we are in would not take us there, one, because that hasn't got an extra tire, two, the driver is not well trained, we have decided to put somebody we just felt shoe, is going to crash all of us, unfortunately. However, the other side of it, which I must not throw away, is exactly what you are saying. That, okay, look, can we begin to tinker with this constitution? Who is going to tinker with this constitution? We have a National Assembly who know that by tinkering with this constitution is going to draw the rug off their feet. Will they be able to do that? Moses, let's face it. If somebody has a cancer patient, you'll be saying, no, I don't want my patient to die. I will go and sell my house. I'll go and do this. I'll go and pray and all that. That patient is destined to die. You must take that hard decision that it's not going to really happen. We either decide that we are going to stone these people and get what we want, or decide not to stone them and then take a drastic surgery. And that drastic surgery is the fact to come to the truth of the terms that this is not going to take us
anywhere. All right then, John, we still have John in the house. John, now, isn't it interesting and appalling? I beg your pardon. Isn't it appalling that we're looking at governance, politics as a job, whereby former Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi has likened it to a 9-to-5. He says, if you want a 9-to-5, if you want security, Japa. Security. I put that in quotes again. So we don't have that here. If you want to make quick money,
better economy,
politics is a place. I mean, isn't that a takeaway from what he just said? If you want quick money, then stay in Nigeria, play the politics, and you just might be a relevant person in society. How worrisome is that? And I mean, we're not just talking about a problem here. We're looking for a solution too. What should be done? Well, I think we've had this conversation a number of times, but I'd like to hear your thoughts again. What should be done differently to make it less attractive, especially for those who just want to make quick money?
Moses, let's start from our value system. I remember vividly when I was a little boy growing up in the street of Lagos. You dare not come home with a phone that your parents did not buy for you. Not even with a size book, not even pencil, as little as pencil from the school that is not your own. You dare not come to the house with that. Yeah. But you see, our political class knows that if Nigerians are self-sufficient on their own, their abnormalities will no longer continue. And so they do all that they need to do intentionally to create this environment. so that there will be chaos, there will be problems, there will be poverty, there will be no education. And so when they come with their 2 cups of rice, you say, let's even eat now before we look at the next 4 years. So who are those who created the bureaus in Lagos? Are they not still the government? Who created LASMA? Not still the government? And so the question you ask yourself is, of what importance are all these creations? Look at their benefits, the advantages and disadvantages. You will see that the disadvantages outweighs the advantages. Even in Lagos, you will see Agbero collecting money for LASMA official, or LASMADA, or Aroda, or King of Boys. They are all state tools. And when it's time for election, all of these people are critical stakeholders in terms of ballot snatching. You know? So our politicians created that environment intentionally. Moses, if they want it to work, it will work. How much will it cost us to have virtual voting? How much will it cost us? We all have our NIN, Moses. I can't use the NIN in bank. It will not go through. I can't use a BVN in bank. It won't go through. So why can't we say that every Nigerian who have their BVN should use their BVN as their voting number and can only vote once? You see that that's very possible. But our political class will not allow that to go on. Why? Because the structure they have built is that structure of criminality. And that's what Peter Obi is talking about. They built those structures intentionally for a purpose. And when the need arises, they swing those vectors into actions and they're activated. After elections, they deactivate them again. And that's why they always bring you policies that will create unemployment. The more your young people are unemployed, the more problem you have in terms of insecurity. All right? And so these are what they can do. Moses, look at how much we have expended on different areas of our polity. And then you ask yourself, in a sane clan, a country like Japan, had their first lunar achievements about some days ago. And I said that my own country, from 1960 till now, we cannot say that we can boast of our refineries working from 1960 till this day. We are an oil-producing country, Moses, yet we import oil. Countries who do not even have oil, we import oil. Their own oil is even far cheaper than our own. And so, our political leaders are the first problem. If you now go back to those who are in the House of Assembly, the Senate and the House of Rep, Moses, how did they get there? How did they get there? Somebody who was called from his vulcanizer shop, a vulcanizer, who was called, come and take form and fill form for him. And then they voted and he became a senator or a House of Rep member. Who do you think he will be loyal to?
That's a Nigerian.
Any policy that will not favor the people, it will not go for it. But rather, they will not favor their own lords.
All right then.
Their own cabals. It's what they will go for.
All right.
And so until we change all of that, we can't go anywhere.
Until we change that, we cannot go anywhere. The Nigerian dream, indeed. Yes. I'm going to go to bed today, hoping I wake up to the president. All right. So this is where we'll anchor this conversation. And then we'll get into other conversations.
Oh, yes, definitely. We'll get into other conversation. And up next on VOP this morning, Wike's divided attention, worsening FCT insecurity. Now, this is coming from an activist popularly known as Deji Adeyanju. This and more when we return. Don't go anywhere.
When your